Friends, in this video, I'm going to answer questions that you sent me concerning President Trump's proclamation, which suspends or bans entry into the U.S. for certain immigrants and non-immigrants. So if you're interested in answers to questions that you've raised to me, stick around, watch this video. All right, before I get into it, guys, thanks so much for being part of my community. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer. I've been talking a lot about the latest things that President Trump is doing to immigration and keeping you guys plugged in. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead, do so right now, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notice of my videos each week. Now, I have your questions in front of me and I'm going to pull them up here. And these questions came primarily from the video that I did on the first day when the proclamation was signed, which was June 22nd. I'm going to link to that live video here so that you could go back and get some more background information about this if you had not yet watched that video. All right, first question comes from Sadia. Sadia asks, what about the CR1 visa? Is it affected? So we're talking about the conditional residency green card, and it's given to a spouse of a U.S. citizen or green card holder because the couple has been married less than 2 years at the time of approval. And so again, because the CR1 applies to a spouse of a green card holder and a U.S. citizen, then the new ban that's in effect impacts the green card holder spouse, but not the U.S. citizen spouse. The U.S. citizen spouse can still come in on her CR1 visa. Unfortunately, the green card holder spouse cannot come in under this ban. He or she will have to wait until the ban is lifted, and that date is December 31st, 2020. So far, that's the only date that we have at this point. Next question comes from Sandy. Hi, can you tell me if the suspension includes the K1 visa? And so Sandy, it does not. It does not include the K1 fiancé visa. Next question comes in from Cynthia. Cynthia says, does it affect F2A F2B immigration visa? So the F2A category, again, is that category of green card holder petitioners who are petitioning for either a spouse or a child under 21. The F2B category is for the green card holder who is petitioning for an adult child, a child that's over 21. Now, this does impact both categories. However, the child in F2A that is closer to turning 21 during this time, and that child is in danger of aging out of being eligible for the visa under this category, that child is actually exempt under this ban. So children who are facing the possibility of being aged out while this proclamation or ban is in effect, they are exempt from this ban and they will be able to get their immigrant visa during this time and come to the U.S. But everyone else, unfortunately, the spouse and then the adult children of green card holders, they cannot come in during this time. Next question comes from Mayank. Mayank says, hey, does this proclamation or the one 2 months ago hold up the processing of EB1 I485 adjustment of status from within the U.S.? And so the answer is no. The EB1 is under the employment-based green card process, and this individual is going through adjustment of status. And so because he or she is here in the U.S. going through adjustment of status, they are not caught up in this ban. The ban, again, only applies to those who are outside of the country and they meet the other criteria that I've talked about in other videos. Go back, watch those other videos to learn what those criteria are. Nishtha asks, after interviewing U.S. Embassy, my husband's L1B visa and my L2 visa was approved and stamped by the U.S. Embassy. So we have a valid U.S. visa, but we couldn't travel to the U.S. at that time as international flights were stopped due to Corona in our country. So will we be able to travel to the U.S. in 2020, or do we fall under this ban? And so Nishtha, because you and your husband have already received your visa stamp before the proclamation went into effect, then you can actually travel to the U.S. So thankfully, you're not caught up in this ban. You should be able to gain entry into the U.S. once you're able to travel here, once travel restrictions have lifted. Next question comes from Jay. Jay says, hi, is the new proclamation applicable to those already in the U.S.? In my relative's case, his I-94 will soon expire and he's planning to extend it. So the easy answer is it does not apply to anyone who is currently in the U.S., only to those outside of the U.S. Ali asks, will this affect U.S. citizenships? I have submitted my citizenship application and it was accepted in March. So this proclamation does not impact anyone who is applying for naturalization here in the United States. Next question from Nick. Nick says, I'm a green card holder. My husband is a citizen. Under this new ban, can he file for my underage kids as his stepchildren? And so the answer is yes. If your children have a U.S. citizen step-parent and your children are under 21 and unmarried, that would make them the immediate relative of your partner, your spouse. So the step-parent U.S. citizen can petition for the children during this time and they can gain entry. However, if you, green card holder, attempted to petition for your children and they fall under the F2A category, those children cannot come in unless they're facing the possibility of aging out during this proclamation period. If they're facing the possibility of aging out, then yes, those children can come in under you, green card holder parent. Next question comes from Annabelle. Hello, my mom already got her green card approval. Congratulations. But she is outside the U.S. She's just waiting for the airport to reopen so she can travel to the U.S. Will it affect her coming in? I don't really know, Annabelle, what you mean by she already got her green card approval. Has she already gone to the embassy, interviewed with them, and then have received that immigrant visa? If so, then she's good to go because she has that immigrant visa and have already completed all of the steps necessary to get the visa. So she can come in once the travel restrictions have been lifted. But if you mean that, well, only her I-130 was approved by USCIS and, she hasn't gotten that immigrant visa yet, then that would be a problem. Then she would not be able to come in until this ban has been lifted. But I'm reading your question to mean she has her visa and she's literally just waiting for the coronavirus travel advisories to lift so she can come in. And if that's the case, then yes, she should be fine coming in. Prince asks, he says, firstly, this is an important question. Prince, all of these questions are important. So I thought that was cute. But he says, does it also mean that USCIS won't accept right now a file if a person is in this category? Or does it mean that the currently ongoing cases at USCIS are suspended right now? You're talking about USCIS, right, under the Department of Homeland Security that processes applications for immigration benefits. Now, this ban only applies to those outside of the U.S. who will be going through the consular process under the State Department or U.S. Embassy. They're going to go through that process to come into America. Those are the people who are impacted by this proclamation. And so for those who are looking to apply for a green card or have their relative petition for them for a green card or immigrant visa, you can still apply now to USCIS and get the petition in. And if you are in a category, a family-based category, that requires you to wait because there's a wait-in list. You fall under either F1, F2A, F2B, F3, or F4 category. You're going to have to wait. And once your priority date comes up, then you will be notified by the NVC, the National Visa Center, to pay application filing fees, begin the visa application process, give them their documents, and then get in the queue for an interview at the U.S. Embassy. So as you can see, it is a process. There are a number of phases to this process. So if the person wants to apply now and put themselves in phase 1, which is USCIS processing, I would encourage them to do so, particularly if they're going to be in a family category that will require them to wait. It's better to get it in sooner rather than later. So it does not slow down or stop anyone's application currently at USCIS. The proclamation impacts those of you who have already gone through USCIS and going through the NVC process now, or you're waiting for the NVC to contact you to put you in that interview queue. Those are the people who are really primarily impacted at this phase. Next question comes from Digo. Digo says, let's say the petitioner was a green card holder when he filed for his kid, but after this order, he gets his citizenship. Will the kid get the visa? So the answer is, if the petitioner parent upgrades the file by submitting the naturalization certificate to prove that he is now a U.S. citizen, the government will bump that child up into immediate relative, so long as it's still a child defined as one who's under 21 and unmarried. Then once that child gets in that immediate relative category, he or she is free to go with respect to getting an immigrant visa and then gain an entry into the U.S. The next couple of questions are from people who have contacted my office called. So the first question is, I am a citizen and my spouse is at the embassy. Does this proclamation impact us? And the answer is no. U.S. citizen spouses are exempt from this proclamation. The last one is the ban really true? And so the answer is, unfortunately, it is true. I'm not wasting my time doing this video, right? I'm actually providing this information to you because this is a real thing. The ban is true. So watch other videos of mine and read the news and follow along with these important developments. But unfortunately, this is not just a dream or a nightmare. This is real life. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to share it with others. Share it on WhatsApp, share it on Facebook, or wherever you're at. Just go ahead and share this video with others because they may have the same questions that I answered in this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.